I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
That was good.
That's what I did. I put Lomachenko in the top 10 after his first fight.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So you've heard me say for years, you can put the truth in a jail cell, throw away the key. That truth is going to find a way to break free. And a lot of times in the sport of boxing, when a fight is either officially signed or it's in serious negotiations, that's usually when you hear more people come out and give their honest assessment of how a fight will play out. Who will most likely have the edge, who will most likely win, and who will lose. And Teddy Atlas is a prime example of that. You guys seen the clip that I played at the beginning of this video. Teddy Atlas, who said that he had Lomachenko in his top 10 after his very first fight. He has constantly always praised Lomachenko as being pound for pound better than all of these fighters, until he found out that Lomachenko is negotiating a fight with Devin Haney. Now he's singing a completely different tune. Teddy started talking about this fight on his podcast, and one of the very first things he said is this is going to be a very difficult fight for Lomachenko. And he actually kept saying that throughout the podcast, but towards the end, when he said it, he tried to balance it out by saying this is an awfully tough fight for Lomachenko, and then at the last minute he said it's going to be tough for both of them, which I agree. It is going to be tough for both of them. But at the same time, you can clearly tell that Teddy Atlas is saying that he sees Devin Haney winning this fight, just like me and the majority of boxers that talk about this fight does. Now, that was interesting because Teddy, he started off trying to use the age excuse, saying that the clock is ticking and Lomachenko better hurry up and fight these guys if he's going to fight them. He doesn't have a whole lot of time. But you can't use the age excuse when it comes to Lomachenko because Loma is 34 years old. And Floyd Mayweather was 36 years old when he was fighting against a much bigger Canelo Alvarez. Speaking of much bigger, that's the excuse that Teddy Atlas's co-host, he was trying to use. As Teddy Atlas starts to explain why this is going to be such a difficult fight for Lomachenko, the co-host, he cuts off Teddy Atlas and he starts talking about how Devin Haney looks so much bigger than Lomachenko when they were standing next to each other. He was talking about how Devin Haney doesn't even look like he's a lightweight. And Teddy was saying, well, yeah, of course he doesn't look like he's a lightweight right now because he's not in fight shape. And he said everyone that Lomachenko fought was bigger than him. But you can't use the size excuse either because once again, going back to Floyd Mayweather, when Floyd was fighting Canelo, Canelo was way bigger than Floyd Mayweather. And remember, Floyd had already moved up 5 weight classes and he completely dominates a 23-year-old fighter that's 15 to 20 pounds bigger than him. Not to mention, when Bivol just fought Ramirez this past weekend, Ramirez was actually over 200 pounds. He was way bigger. I mean, Ramirez came in there looking like Usyk fighting against Anthony Joshua. And Bivol still made it one of his easiest fights ever. So the age excuse and the size excuse does not apply. Not to mention, Lomachenko, he was always known for his great defense. Loma is not a fighter that's always been in wars, so you can't even say, oh, you know, he's aged faster because all of the wars that he's been involved in. That wouldn't be the case at all. Deep down, Teddy Atlas, he understands that this is going to be a very difficult fight for Lomachenko to win because he knows that Devin Haney is a better fighter than Lomachenko is. You guys have to remember, when Lomachenko fought against Linares, that fight was years ago, and he struggled against Linares. When he fought Luke Campbell, he said that that was the most difficult fight of his career. We're talking about Luke Campbell. Ever since Lomachenko moved up to 135, he's been fighting against a lot of boxers that know how to nullify a lot of Lomachenko's best attributes. Matter of fact, I remember Lomachenko, he looked so flawed against Linares that Bob Arum And many people, they were begging Lomachenko to move back down to 130. And Loma, he said he couldn't go back down to 130 anymore. He said now he's a lightweight. He can't make weight at 130 anymore. So once again, that further destroys a size excuse. Not to mention, if you're one of the people who said that Devin Haney, he has no power and he has no chin, you're also acknowledging that the size excuse does not apply. Once you take away Lomachenko's angles and you control distance, Lomachenko damn near becomes a bird without wings. He can no longer fly. And there's no fighter at 135 that controls distance and range better than Devin Haney does. On top of it, has athletic reflexes. I told you guys I felt very confident that Lomachenko would beat Jermaine Ortiz, but I did not expect Jermaine to do as good as he did. And if Jermaine Ortiz can do that well against Devin Haney, then it's very hard to see Devin Haney losing to Lomachenko. Because even though Jermaine Ortiz is a good fighter and he could definitely beat some of the top lightweights, Ortiz is nowhere near on the level of a Devin Haney. Everything that Ortiz was trying to do in that fight, Devin Haney does 5 times better. You can hear it in Teddy Atlas's voice. The idea of his guy fighting against Devin Haney, it terrifies him. And if it were up to Teddy Atlas, this fight would not be taking place. I mean, I guess the real question is, if Teddy Atlas felt that Lomachenko was so good that after his first fight, he had already put him in his top 10, and he believes that Devin Haney has a very good chance of beating this guy, how come he's never praised Devin Haney that way? That's a rhetorical question, obviously.
Right now, as much as I love Loma, now if he's going to fight a top guy, he better do it right away and not wait any longer because the clock has ticked and it's still ticking. That's going to be a tough fight for Loma.
By the way, Teddy, did you see the size difference when Haney got in the ring with Lomachenko? Lomachenko even looked at him and says, "You're a lightweight?" I mean, Teddy, he looked huge.
Well, he's not a lightweight.
He had to
right
be
now.
170 pounds. He looked, weight on. He looked like a friggin' giant next to Lomachenko. Even Lomachenko commented.
No, I know. He's a big, look, a lot, everyone's bigger than Lomachenko. Lomachenko started at featherweight, went to junior lightweight, went to lightweight. So let's not forget that. And listen, and he's good, and he believes. You know, he won't be finding out late in the fight. He already knows late in the fight what he has to do, what he can do, and that he can rely on himself. Where Ortiz wasn't quite sure yet. Wasn't quite cemented in that way now. Now he might be, but he wasn't then. He hadn't had that valuable lesson yet of going through the fire. Haney knows the answers to those questions.
Did you guys just hear that part right there? I actually didn't even notice that until I listened to it right now. He just compared Ortiz to Devin Haney like I did. He basically said the exact same thing that I said. You heard me say the things that Ortiz was trying to do in the ring against Lomachenko, Devin Haney does 5 times better. And that's pretty much what Teddy Atlas just said. He said that Devin Haney is going to have all of the answers that Ortiz didn't have in the fight. Once again, Teddy Atlas is telling his co-host that Devin Haney is going to be able to beat Lomachenko with his boxing IQ and not his size. Because if that were the case, then people would have been giving Nakatani a really good chance of beating Lomachenko, which Lomachenko, he completely dominated him and made that, once again, his easiest fight at 135. The tallest opponent that he's faced at 135, by the way.
So that the Haney-Lomachenko fight will probably wind up getting it. It'll be very interesting. It'll be an awful tough fight for Loma, but you know what? It'll be a tough fight for both guys.
He said it's going to be an awfully tough fight for Lomachenko in particular. I mean, where were these comments at from Teddy Atlas when people like Paulie Malignaggi was saying that Devin Haney don't want to fight that white boy? In other words, that's the fighter that Devin is going to duck. Something else I don't understand is the way Teddy Atlas just broke that down when he was explaining why this is going to be so difficult for Lomachenko, this fight. It's funny because Roy Jones, he's doing the podcast with Paulie Malignaggi, sitting right next to him, and what Teddy Atlas just said, you would expect someone with the IQ of Roy Jones to say those same things to Paulie Malignaggi when Paulie is saying that Devin Haney is going to duck Lomachenko. Which, by the way, proves that Paulie Malignaggi doesn't even agree with Teddy Atlas' co-host when he was using the size excuse. Paulie didn't see that as any type of advantage at all because he felt that Devin Haney was ducking Lomachenko. But going back to Roy Jones, it's just really crazy to see Roy Jones sit there completely on mute like Mike Tyson was when he was sitting next to Robin Gibbs and she was doing an interview just completely airing Mike Tyson out. I mean, what's the point of doing a podcast if you're not going to speak your mind freely, unapologetically? Because that's exactly what Paulie Malignaggi always does. Paulie will come out and he'll say the most racist things right in front of Roy Jones. And he doesn't even care. So if Paulie has the confidence to say things like that, then Roy Jones should easily have the confidence to speak the whole truth. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes,
Fever blisters, diabetic ulcers.
this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com.
Like them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.